And retired police Lieutenant Paul Gallagher is back on the stand this morning in the Karen Reed murder retrial. He's the one who collected evidence at the scene using red Solo cups and a Stop and Shop bag. He also used a leaf blower to clear the snow where John O'Keefe's body was found. Yesterday, a paramedic gave dramatic testimony, telling the jury she heard Karen Reed say 4 times about O'Keefe, "I hit him." Now we're expecting to hear more about the investigation the defense says was sloppy and corrupt. ABC's Ike Ejiochi and ABC News legal contributor Bernarda Villalona are here for more on the case. So, Ike, what's the latest?
So day 9 of testimony of this retrial had several highlights. We began with an examination of forensic evidence by that state toxicologist that implied Karen Reed was likely 2 to 3 times over the legal alcohol limit at the time of the incident. We heard from multiple witnesses, from party attendees to a paramedic that testified that Karen Reed said those 3 crucial words, "I hit him," at the scene. That's something that the defense says is unreliable because it was never written down in a police report. And then we ended the day with testimony from that retired Canton police officer, Lieutenant Paul Gallagher, who essentially talked about his unconventional methods of evidence collection. We heard him talk about using the leaf blower to blow off the snow from the scene, using those red Solo cups to collect that blood, even storing those red Solo cups in that brown paper bag. Look for the defense today to continue poking holes in his evidence collection methods and try to raise questions about chain of custody.
Bernarda, you've seen your fair share of cases. How unusual is it for an officer to talk about collecting evidence this way with Solo cups and bags and a leaf blower and so on?
It's not at all. It's not at all. So
it's not unusual?
It's not unusual at all.
Really?
I was a prosecutor for 16 years. 10 of those years, I was a prosecutor in the Homicide Bureau. And with the Homicide Bureau, Crime Scene Unit is the one who primarily responds. Let me tell you, the first officers that respond to the scene, because those are the first officers before crime scene, the legit people that come through with the evidence collection items, the first officers have to use whatever they have in order to try to preserve the evidence. So they don't want things flying away. They don't want things getting commingled. They don't know what is relevant in terms of evidence. So they're going to use whatever they have to try to preserve the scene as much as they can. So it's not unusual, but it's up to the prosecution to sell that to the jury.
I was about to ask you, how challenging is that for the prosecution when the defense is obviously going to try to make this seem like this was botched, this was sloppy work, etc. So how challenging is that for the prosecution to try to establish that this is kind of par for the course?
It is very challenging in a case like this because you have the one main issue, Michael Proctor. And because you have the issue of Michael Proctor,
who's the lead investigator?
Who's the lead investigator and who's no longer on the force, who was actually fired because of his actions in this case. And when you have a problem like that, it makes it so much more difficult for a prosecutor to be like, no, this is how things normally go. They were doing their job. So it's going to be tough for the prosecution. They're going to have to look for as much corroboration as they can. And right now, the only corroboration that they're finding is, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, from multiple witnesses.
Interesting. All right, Ike Ejiochi, Bernarda Villalona, thank you both.